How are we doing tonight, folks? How are we feeling Monday night, March 16th? Day before St. Patrick's Day for all my American folks here. Anybody else watching from anywhere around the world, feel free to put a comment below where you're watching from, where you're coming from, what you think about the stream. But to everybody watching, how are we feeling tonight? How are we doing? I hope you're doing well. I know I am. A lot better mood now that Spurs have some points on the board. Finally, well, I should say points, but point on the board. Much needed draw. We're going to get into that. But before we do, of course, take a moment, give a round of applause for yourselves. So glad that you could be here. So take a moment, give a round of applause, give a round of applause to yourselves. Thank you so much. I appreciate you clapping for me, but you deserve the applause just as much. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get my hold on. We are having some more media issues. Give me 1 sec. All right. Okay, I'm back. Worst luck when it comes to the media. Sometimes when I'm running this, but it is what it is, man. But happy to be here. 16th. Hope you guys well tonight. Let's go ahead and just knock out the beginning logistics for me. Feel free to go ahead, like this live stream, throw a subscribe on the channel for me. You can also follow me on X. That's also in the description below. I really appreciate it if you go ahead and do that. Feel free to throw a comment as well if you're in the live stream or if you are watching in the playback. You can just let me know what you think about content, what you think about what's being said. Do you agree with it? Do you not agree with it? All that thing. So just go ahead and do that for me, please. I really appreciate that so much. Hey, folks. Listen, I'm so excited that honestly we finally got a win, a much needed win. It was, or not a win. I'm sorry, a draw. I'm hoping for a win. I'm praying for a win. But no, we got a much needed draw in this game against Liverpool. Listen, going to Anfield, it's never an easy game for any team, especially this Liverpool team now, even though they look a little bit weak. Playing in Anfield is no easy task. So to walk away with a point, I think any team, wants to have that result at Anfield. If they could get a win, that would be even better. But to walk away with the point, I think was really good. Some key things I thought just kind of right off the bat with everything is that first of all, let's go ahead and get this going. First of all, right, we didn't play well. I don't think either team played well. I think that was a kind of a big characteristic of the game is that it was very very blunt from both teams, not very clinical. Both teams had chances, right? They put shots on goal, but as far as anything dangerous looking, neither team really had that many quality chances, right? As far as the actual play itself, especially from a Tottenham perspective, the passing was not very good. A lot of turnovers in the first half, especially from Matisse Tell. He was turning the ball over almost every time he got it. He was the outlet ball, so he was receiving the ball whenever we needed to clear from pressure, but very few times he was actually able to retain it and create something from it. I think there's maybe two opportunities he may have created in that first half, but yeah, just a very low quality game. Granted, with Spurs in our situation, not really expecting a lot of quality, I was very surprised about how Liverpool were so, I don't even want to say casual or nonchalant. They were just not good. They were not up for the game that day. So it was very interesting just to see, man. I know Liverpool fans are pissed, or Liverpool fans are pissed right now that that they had this result against Tottenham. I think we're usually the whipping boys in the top six. So usually when a top six team can't get a result against us, it's upsetting, especially this Tottenham team now, man. This Tottenham team is on the floor. So I understand why some fans, maybe Liverpool fans, may be upset with the team. What does this mean for Arne Slot? I don't know. What does that mean for him? You'll never know. But hey, man, and my all in my opinion, in my opinion, I think first of all, Tudor, right, and we're gonna go ahead and get starting lineups and everything pulled up from here. I think first of all, Tudor, he did not set up the team the best way. It was actually very surprising. Let's see. We weren't set up the best, so I wasn't really expecting that strong of a first half performance. We're going to go ahead and look at the lineups here. Let's make this the fullest of the screens. Boom. Boom, daddy. All right, so here we go. You can see here for Tottenham, it goes in the back. We had Vicario, so Vicario gets his start back after not playing in the Champions League. I imagine from this performance, even though he had that really bad save against the free kick, not really in good position and did not have that strong of a hand. Was able to get a hand on it, but the ball just went straight through. So not a very good save. But other than that, was able to keep us in the game. I imagine he'll probably get the start against Atletico Madrid. In the back, we had Jed Spence, Dragusin, Kevin Danzo, and Pedro Porro. In this game, going with the 4-4-2, I thought going with the 4 at the back was better, but looking at the lineup, I honestly thought we were going to be at a 5 at the back, knowing how Tudor's been playing, but he goes with the 4, right? 4-4-2. I was surprised seeing it happen. Again, just looking at the names and just looking at social media, I was not very keen because I just saw these 5 names. So I'm like, oh, Lord, if we have a back 5 of Jed Spence, Souza with Pedro Porro, Jackson, and Danzo, and then in the middle, Sarr and Archie Gray, I thought we were going to get overrun. It's going to get split wide open. It was going to be a bad game. In the midfield, though, we did have Sarr and Gray with Matisse Tell and Souza, not in his left back position, but in the right midfield position. Very interesting. I'm guessing he was opting to go for a player that can cut in on his left foot from the right, and Souza, and get something going that way. Or no, I think Souza's right-footed. Is he right-footed? I can't remember if he was a right-footed left back. I don't think he's a right-footed left back. I think he's a left-footed left back. So I think he wanted Souza to cut in from the right. We got Richarlison and Solanke up top, 2 strikers. So, I mean, to be quite honest, Solanke was anonymous in that game. If you ask me, I don't think he really had any impact whatsoever. Let's go ahead and talk about the first and the second half. Now, again, I said first half, very sloppy. I'm interested to see what these passing stats look like because I thought we were very sloppy passing Didn't have a lot of possession, as you can see. We only had 34%. Whoops. Screen reloaded. So we only had 34%, right? Going in. We only had one big chance. That was for Charleston's header after Matisse Tell crossed it in, right? A few times he did get space. Was able to put in a good cross. Just wasn't able to get it on goal. You can see there we only had to make one save. We had 2 corner kicks, 7 fouls. We only had 148 passes. So you can see there, again, not having a lot of possession. Where are the passing stats? This is where I wanted to. So this is what I wanted to see. So first of all, crossing, not that bad, right? 2 out of 3 crossing, not bad at all. Long balls, we only got about a third of our long balls. Throw-ins, we had more throw-ins, but look at the difference though in the accurate passes. In the final third entries, right? Look at the difference there. Just completely different there. Let's see. Let's see the ground duels, right? I think players like Jed Spence were getting into the game. Kevin Danza would get into the game. Pedro Porro was getting cooked. He was getting cooked by what's his name? I don't know that young I don't know if he's a winger or what, but that young player, he's like an academy player from Liverpool. I forgot his name, something Rio, but he was cooking Pedro Porro. And on the opposite end, Matisse Tell, again, I say it again with this guy, right? Matisse Tell, he was turning the ball over, not even necessarily being dispossessed. He was barbecue chicken. He was barbecue chicken against Zoboslai out there on the left. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was trying to do in some moments. He was just, his touches were so bad. He was dribbling the ball out. He was having bad touches that were uncontrolled, getting dribbled out. And if anything, he was being ushered by Zoboslai up and down the wing. It was only until then he was able to hold the ball up a little bit to get some backup was he able to generate something. Or if he would immediately shoot the ball back into the middle and then get further up the field. But he was, the outlet ball. But he did not on the eye. If you were looking at the game, maybe if you look at these stats, they're not as bad, right? You can see that they obviously won more duels, right? They had more ground duels than us. They won more aerial duels than us. They had had more successful dribbles than us. They were dribbling more successfully than we were. So all in all, they were definitely the more dominant team on the ground as far as the play. If you were looking at the game, they looked like they were the more cohesive team. As blunt and as they didn't really generate a whole lot in the game. When you see them and how they play, they looked more cohesive as a team than Tottenham did. But again, we fashioned our chances. We were able to get a couple things. Moving into the second half, right? Second half is I'm sorry. I didn't go over the free kick, right? So Dominic Szoboszlai, he had a free kick in the 18th minute. A lot of fans were in contention if this was a foul. I thought it was a foul. It was a very soft foul. That was a free kick, but it was a foul. So I can't really complain about that. It looked like Sousa was just able to catch his leg. It looked like McAllister stretched his leg out a little bit, but as we've been seeing in the refereeing standard, if you force the issue, they're gonna call it your way. So he forced the issue. Maybe he stretched himself out a little bit. Maybe he went down a little bit easily. Maybe he dribbled into a group of players looking for contact. All in all, he did his job. He got the contact, got the free kick. They scored. Mission accomplished, right? Mission accomplished. So we go into the half 1-0. We come back in to the second half. Now, second half, you could say, let's see here. Yes, second half. still more dominant on the ball, but I think we were definitely a little bit better as far as our passing, what it looked like, as far as we obviously created the chance with Richarlison coming into the game, or scoring in the game. We had Kolo Muani in. As a matter of fact, let's just go ahead now to talk about the subs. Subs, I think, had the biggest impact on this game. Obviously, Kolo Muani getting the assist in the second half. Um, just going through these stats some more. So you can see here accurate passes. They were still more dominant, still the better team, right? But you can see there we were way more stuck into the game in the second half. We were willing to dig in more. Maybe Liverpool weren't. They were somewhat reserved since they weren't in the lead. I know Mohamed Salah didn't have a good game either. He had a pretty bad game. So, uh, I all in all, I think for the second half, it wasn't much better on the eye, but we got the goal that mattered. We got the goal that counted. And when it came time to defend, like you can see here, we, we did what we needed to do. We got stuck in. And this Liverpool team, again, they played horribly. They played horribly. And I was very honestly surprised they left it up for the taking so much. I thought that they would smell the blood in the water with this team. They would smell the ruthlessness, but apparently not. They allowed us to do our thing and get back into this game. I was just very surprised. Now, oh, here, let me go back to this. Yeah, so that way you can see their faces. So you see here for subs, we had Zavi come in for Souza, Rando Kolomowani, who eventually got the assist, Callum Ulusesi, the academy product, coming in. This making his second appearance. I think this was a kid that got the goal last season on the way to the Europa League championship. I forgot who we were playing. Man, I forgot who we were playing in that game, but yeah, I can't remember. Was it Young Boys? I don't think it was Young Boys. Anyways, he was in that game. I'm pretty sure he was the one that got the goal when we had a bunch of our academy kids out there on the field, because we were in the similar situation we're in now, where we had a lot of injuries and there was no senior players available to play. So he's getting he got to look out, as well as James Rosewell, another academy product. Now, I'm going to be honest, I've never seen this guy. I don't know where he's from. I don't know what he's capable of, but he got an appearance in this game. And hey, you can say he's part of the effort of the team that was able to get a point at Liverpool, something Tottenham haven't been able to do for a while now. And he contributed to that. The subs, I think, ultimately had a big impact in the game. You can see here, they all had a pretty much average to above average game, so none of them held anybody back. I really think the standout players, though, were Kevin Danso, right? Richarlison, he got the goal. That's really it. I guess you could say Dragosin as well for the back. Excuse me, back defense. But no, I really thought Kevin Danzo and Richarlison were the impact players defensively and offensively. Really the tale of two halves as well, because in that first half, Liverpool got the goal. They were more stuck into the game. Second half, Tottenham got more stuck into the game. We got the goal at the end. We were able to see it out. So ultimately, a draw that I'm not mad with. I'm not mad with at all. I was expecting us to lose in this game, so I really couldn't do a preview show. I had some family events going on at that time, so I couldn't do a preview show. But I did not expect us to get a lot from this game. I remember last year, right, watching us play Liverpool and us just getting destroyed and just how demoralized I was that this Liverpool team was just firing. This is the championship Liverpool team as well. So I'm pretty sure at that time we played them in the season. I'm trying to think. That time we played them in the season, they might have had the league locked down. So I can't remember, to be honest. But yeah, that was the title-winning Liverpool team, and I was so demoralized because we never get anything at Anfield, right? Aren't able to get any results, and it was just another 90 minutes of pain. Another 90 minutes of pain. We also lost to them in the Carabao Cup. I believe it was the Carabao Cup semifinal. So yes, it was a sad season. Really tough times playing Liverpool, but we were able to get something out of this. Did Tudor get this right? Now, this is an interesting question, and now looking at the starting lineup again, you would say no. You would say no, right? Looking about how we played in the first half, you would say no. but we got the result that we needed. We got the result that we needed. And interesting enough, the subs that he made had some impact as well. So that also goes in his corner. Is the point to him as well. If you want to say he got it right, it's a tough debate. All right, I'm not going to go too deep on it, right? But yeah, did Igor Tudor get this right? I would have to give him the credit of yes. I would say he did get this right, and I wouldn't say the starting lineup is correct, but he made the changes he needed to, right? He stuck with Richarlison in the game. He substituted the players he needed to. He put Kolomouani out on the right for Souza. Put Xavi Simons on as well. Listen, you gotta give him props. Gotta give him props. And got to give props to the players as well. They dug in and they were able to, this is something that I know a lot of fans have been wanting to see from the players is them dig in to get some fight into this game, into the team. So I think the fans are going to be happy about this. Well, I know fans are happy about this, but I think the players dug in deep and were they got this result, and I think they'll feel good from this. I know the fans are feeling good from this. I feel good from this. I'm happy for us to get a point. But, there's so many other issues going on at Tottenham right now. Like, I don't want us to get relegated because, to be quite honest, if we do get relegated, we're not coming back up. We're not coming back up anytime soon. So I would love to avoid relegation if you ask me. But, am I happy to get a point? Does this automatically uplift the tune that is being, played here at Tottenham right now? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's temporary relief. It's temporary reprieve, right? If you look at our form in the Premier League, we were losing games. At least we got a point. We had no points. We haven't gotten a single point in any Premier League game this calendar year. So to get a point, as low and as sad as that standard sounds, listen, I'm just happy we got it. I'm just happy we got it. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. We're gonna take this to the bank, take the point to the bank. I'm gonna pull up the table here in a second. Here we go. So we got the Opta table up here. Just so you can see. Look at that. Oh, it's not all straight L's. It's not all straight red L's. It's not all red boxes. every time you see Tottenham in the form table, it's not all red. It's not just a red straight line. You see some different colors now. You see some different colors in that rainbow. So I'm happy to see a draw. We get that point. That puts us on 30. On 30. 29 for Nottingham Forest, 29 for West Ham. They also got a draw. So a point was needed, right? Point was needed. Nobody got a win. Nottingham Forest or West Ham, none of those teams got a win, right? Leeds also didn't get a win. Crystal Palace didn't get a win. Nobody got a win that's around us, which is what we needed. We keep ourselves in it. We keep ourselves in the mix. We still keep the mess messy in that relegation spot, which is what we want. Now, real quick, I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I did want to, though, talk about a couple of things that I saw that I thought were interesting, just on the timeline. Now, first off, just based off of this, right? What I thought was interesting was, here, I saw this on X that made me think and ponder. Now, of course, with this Atletico Madrid game so close, I don't think that there would be any changes, right? I don't think we would fire him and then go and try to find a manager in a matter of a day, right? Wouldn't make any sense, right? But what I'll say is this. What I find interesting is that Nottingham Forest game is so important. It's so important that if you're trusting him to be in the Nottingham Forest game, you might as well trust him for the rest of the season, right? Especially if you have a Tottenham team that goes into this Atletico Madrid game. Yes, we don't advance in the Champions League, but say we win on the day 2-1. Technically, it's a win, but we lost. But hypothetical, right? Not even a 2-1. Say we just have another good performance against Atletico Madrid. Say it's another draw. Say it's a 1-1, and it was a tight, cagey affair, and we fought the whole 90 minutes, and everybody was proud of the players, and ooh, yeah, this. And you go into that Nottingham Forest game, and you lose. You lose. And Nottingham Forest wins, and they go, and we're in relegation now. Do you stick with him from the Nottingham Forest game, or do you fire him and try to find another manager? Do you make another change, right? Another change of the season, another change, another formation, another philosophy that has to be implemented for these players till the end of the season when you're already in a relegation spot? So what I thought was interesting about this, and listen, I'm not necessarily sure with this source, if this is necessarily the end all be all. I don't know if this is like the head guy to get information from Tottenham. But what I found interesting about this was Liverpool, this game. Now, granted, I saw reports that there was ultimatums surrounding this Liverpool game. But what I found interesting was that regardless of that result, if you're the ownership and you're saying you're wanting to find a manager that can do better than Igor Tudor or implement a better philosophy than him, then you would need to do that at the latest now. I mean, before Atletico Madrid. You should have technically done that after the Liverpool game. Get your point. Igor Tudor gets you a point, a crucial point. Fire him. I mean, yeah. I mean, you would have to do it before the Liverpool game. Let me say that. Let me not say after the Liverpool game. You would have had to fire him before the Liverpool game. You would have had to you would have had to have found a manager going into this Liverpool game if you wanted that manager to be set up to have the I don't want to say the best platform, but to have somewhat of a platform going into Atletico Madrid and most importantly Nottingham Forest. So the fact that not only did we stick with Tudor through Liverpool, we are now locking him in for Atletico Madrid and Nottingham Forest. I say at this point, if he it doesn't matter what result we get in that Atletico Madrid game. It doesn't matter if he doesn't get the result in the Nottingham Forest game. It's curtains for the season, and then would it be curtains for him? Because at that point, would you even have to fire him? If you were to have to try to go through this whole cycle again, a different philosophy, everything with the team that's already in relegation, do you want to risk that and have the players really and truly honestly give up? Because they're going to have to forget everything with Tudor, forget everything with Frank, forget everything with Ange, and go for and find another manager. They have to find and believe. Some of these players are not going to be up for it. They're not going to be with it. They're going to be checked out at that point. And if the team's already in a relegation spot, that's the worst position you want to be in for the players to start checking out, right? We were already shitting our pants. It was DEFCON 1 when the players are checking out now, and we're still outside of the relegation spot. So to be quite honest, and this is what leads me to my next thing I found on X. I thought it was very interesting as well. It was they were talking about a specific player with Tottenham having some thoughts about, or at least expressing how he felt around the pitch and everything. Now I'm not gonna play the audio from this.
I'm saying that he doesn't care.
Hopefully
that his agent, his dad, is speaking to Barcelona.
Let's do this. I'm just gonna let the words come up on the screen, and I'm gonna let them go. I'm gonna let them go. So that is going to repeat. Now, this is from a podcast. I have no idea about this podcast. I have no clue who's talking on this podcast or credibility, but it's been going around. This has been spreading like wildfire across Spurs Twitter regarding if these comments Van de Ven have been making are true about how he feels, what's going on as far as his situation, and what will be next for him after Tottenham. What I thought was interesting about that is that, again, with the players checking out and with the team getting a point here at Liverpool, you see a squad of players out there that, listen, as much as quality as they lacked, the fight and the will and the attitude that you wanted was present throughout that team for the whole 90 minutes. And it makes you wonder when you go into games like Atletico Madrid, right? When you go into games like Nottingham Forest, when you're going to need the team to be all in, are you going to now risk bringing in someone who may be checked out, who may not be necessarily all in as everybody else is, to disrupt the flow? And I hope you saw the words that were shared afterwards, the man on the podcast, and how he was describing Van de Ven, because I, for one, I can't disagree with those statements, those criticisms he had. As far as a 1v1 defender, Van de Ven is not very good. I still remember the 1v1 against him and Isaac when we played Newcastle, when they were just cooking us. Every time we went to St. James Park, they were just absolutely mauling us. And that 1v1 with Isaac and Van de Ven, and he made Van de Ven pretty much just do the splits. Made him fall back, broken ankles, whips it around Vicario into the back of the net. He's running to the corner flag. And I remember from that moment, I'm saying, oh, Van de Ven he's not very good defending one-on-one. And from that moment on, I closely look at his one-on-one defending, right? And he's not very good, right? I think some of the things with Van de Ven's defending and why people say he's a brilliant defender is because when he's on the run, when his chest is to goal and he's trying to catch the defender, he has plenty of pace, plenty of speed, right? He's a taller, lankier dude, so he has those long legs that can go out and wrap around and reach and stick out a tackle at full speed. And I think we sort of conflated that with how we were playing with Ange, because he was asked to do that a lot, that, oh, he's a brilliant defender, because he was having to run back and clear the ball and slide tackle and do all these things. And for one, we realized that wasn't feasible in the league, because that sort of defending gets you 17th place and almost relegated. The second thing we realized, that's not feasible for Van de Ven, because he got hurt twice in that season, right? Got hurt the first time, went in, literally made a tackle exactly the way how I described it, going in for a slide tackle when there's a counterattack from the other team. He gets up holding the back of his leg. He gets hurt again. And we know that if there's another injury similar to that situation, he's done for. That pace is gone. That step that he would have would be gone. So those things weren't feasible for him. Those aren't necessarily examples we want to take from his defending. We should be looking at his defending, right? And we all agreed if we could tweak Ange's system, we would have it to where he's standing there and defending players who are standing in front of him with his back to the goal, and he would be more suited that way instead of always running back. But then now that we see his defending, when he's in a 1v1 situation similar to that, it's terrible. It's terrible. He doesn't win any aerial duels, right? He's not necessarily good in the 1v1s, right? Obviously, as far as his headspace and captain material, he's not the best. What I would find really interesting about this is that going into Atletico Madrid and going into Nottingham Forest, do you automatically give Van de Ven the start? Do you put him back into the game? And from the comments I've gotten from Tudor, what we've heard from Tudor about, he has the people. He knows who's on the boat. He has the people who's on the boat. Whoever's not on the boat, so be it. But I know who I have my team with. I know who I want. And I know what we need going forward and who's going to be up for it. And we can all make our assumptions on who he was talking about. But if you're telling me Romero and Van de Ven weren't in that boat, I'm sorry, I can't follow that. I don't believe that. And if we are to believe what we just saw in that podcast, that he's telling everybody that he can't be fussed to do any of this, he can't be fussed to care because he's planning to try to go to Barcelona. His dad is planning an exit for him, whether it is Barcelona or not. He's saying, I'm out of here. So regardless if you guys get, relegated, whatever this is, I'm out. Do you want to necessarily bring that back into the squad before probably the two most important games, if not the most important game of the season, the most important game to the club in the last 5 to 10 years, other than that final? Like it, and just how drastic it is. You have on one end the most important game to this club's history in being in a European final, to the next season, the most important game in this club's history by facing the team that's in 17th place that's holding you from relegation. You gotta get a draw in this game. You can't lose. You gotta get a draw. You gotta hold them to a point at least. At least. How crazy that switch is. That's crazy how that drastic switch can happen in only a matter of a season. But that's Tottenham. That's Tottenham. But I just thought that was interesting. I just thought with everything, with especially with all this talk about who's buying in, who's willing, who's up for it, who's not up for it. If our most skilled players are the ones who are not up for it because they can't be fussed, or I shouldn't say skilled players, but if our star duo in Romero and Van de Ven, right, the sole reason why people saying that we're still a big team, these are the world-class players we have, now that Son's gone, and they've been so good, whether it was with Ange, whether it's with this manager or that manager, they've been good. If they're the ones that can't be fussed to fight, to play, do you play them? Do you bring them in? I wouldn't. I wouldn't bring them in. And it's going to be an interesting choice, interesting choice for Tudor going into these next games. Because if a message has been sent in that, listen, Van de Ven, I don't need you. We don't need you. We can go to Liverpool and get a point, right? We can fight for we can fight to have a good performance at home against Atletico Madrid. We can go into that Nottingham Forest game and get something from that. If he's showing them that, if that's the message if that's the message, right? Especially with this whole boat. I know the people who's on my boat, right? What does that mean for a Van de Ven and Romero? Are you coming off the bench now? Are you not getting any starting time? Are you not going to be in a partnership together anymore? Is he trying to split up that partnership? Is he going to say, well, now you play with Dragusin this game? Romero's going to come in for Dragusin, and it's going to be Romero and Danzo. Right? Maybe Van de Ven plays out at left back and it's Danzo, Dragusin, and Van de Ven at left. Right? What does that look like? What's going to be the future of these two players who I think by most fan accounts, and I would say by my account, are probably the most checked out and ready to leave Tottenham. And probably the most poised to leave Tottenham, if you ask me. If you want to be quite honest, other than Kolo Muani because he's on a loan, Romero and Van de Ven are the three most poised players to leave Tottenham. So do you bring them in and continue to have them as a pillar, especially Romero being your captain? Let's not forget he's the captain of the team. Do you want to bring in your captain who's an unsteady pillar at this time? Or do you do this? Do you, with Tudor and this tough love gimmick that he has, do you say, you guys don't deserve to start, so you're not going to hold that captain's armband in the opening game, leading the team out of that tunnel? We'd rather give it to Danzo. We'd rather give it to Dragusin. We'd rather give it to Vicario. We'd rather give it to whoever, Richarlison, whatever senior player he thinks should walk out with the captain band, right? Maybe he's saying you don't deserve to lead the team out of the tunnel, so we'll bring you on, and you can still be the captain, but you're not going to be the captain leading us out the tunnel visually. You'll come in later. You can talk to us behind the scenes, right? Make the plays, do all that. For Van de Ven, right? Van de Ven's not even captain, not even somewhat captain material. I know he's worn the armband, but he's not captain material. So I would say, especially for Van de Ven, listen, you're coming off the bench, buddy, till you fix up your attitude. If this is true, by the way, if everything we're seeing on that podcast is true, you need to fix up, man, because I'm not dealing with that. I'm not taking that. I'm not having that sort of influence on my team. Why would I put up with that? We don't need that. And we obviously see we don't need you. We got a point at Liverpool. We can get a draw against Atletico Madrid, a 1-1. We can try to hold them to a 1-1. We can get a 1-1 against Nottingham Forest. If we can do that against Liverpool, we can do that against Atletico Madrid or Nottingham Forest. Pick one. Pick one. But those same players should be able to replicate a performance like that. Again, listen, it's not like anything crazy happened. No overhead kicks. No silky smooth skill plays. No crazy runs through the midfield and all throughout the field. It was a blunt game that lacked a lot of skill. But if you're telling me those players can't go out there and generate a couple of chances against Atletico Madrid or Nottingham Forest, you're wrong. And if you're telling me as a Van de Ven, right, if I'm sitting on the bench that this team needs me, then I don't want to say you're wrong, but the evidence is not in their corner right now. So maybe walking around saying that I don't need to be here, Barcelona's calling my name, I'm going to be leaving here, maybe that's not the best move. Maybe it's not the best move. Or maybe it is because he's sidelining himself. And we can see more performances like we did against Liverpool. If we can get that, again, against Nottingham Forest, maybe we don't necessarily need to get a win, 3 points. That would be ideal. And they get none and we get all 3. But even if we got a point, that keeps them below us. That keeps us ahead of them by 1 point. Depending on what West Ham do that game, we will still be safe. So, yeah, we're gonna. I'll end on that note. Listen, I want to thank you hopping in. Feel free to like on the live stream, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel. Feel free to share this video as well with your friends, family members, anybody who's a fan of soccer content, Tottenham Hotspur content, Premier League content. Let them know De La Spurs goes live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Listen, folks, I appreciate it so much. Again, you guys attending this live stream. I'll be back live on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Same spot, same place, same studio, same face. You know what it is. Come on, boys. Listen, it's De La Spurs. I've had a fun time live streaming. You guys have a good rest of your night. I will see you on Wednesday. Until then, peace.